Howdy everyone, Tom Zort Road Disney, and I am here at Animal Kingdom. I have to hold it on this side because I brought this with me because I spent money on it and I'm going to use it in places that make no sense. But I got a little big hand. Here really for one thing today, I want to go do the safari. I haven't done it in a while. I feel like it's time. So I'm going to work my way back there and hopefully get on it. That's kind of the thing, is everything is a hope and a pray and a prayer. But I have no clue what the wait time is. I just got here at like 1 o'clock-ish. So yeah, let's go do the safari with some Infinity Stones. I don't have it on right now. I guess I could turn it on later. Who knows? Alright, we're here at the safari, posted 75-minute wait, and maybe this will do the same luck it had on Rise of the Resistance, because that was posted 90 and I waited like 45. So maybe this will be 30 minutes. Who knows? It gets dark some spots in here though. But I can say that there are definitely some people giving up as they walk behind me. But we'll see. It's going to be interesting. Lots of squirrels out.
Keep those hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the truck at all times. That also includes any little ones. Just remember, they're not Simba and you're not Rafiki, so please don't hold them up in the air. But also feel free to use the animal spotting guide above your head. There's lots of animals there, so let's go get a good look at them today. Now we're just waiting on the light on the right there. That'll be the warden clearing us in. But you can also see the sign. You are now entering Harambe Wildlife Reserve. Harambe means to come together in Swahili, and that's what we're doing today. We're coming together to view these magnificent creatures. But to start us off, we're headed into the little maturing forest. Here in the forest, these animals are more shy, so they're great at hiding. I can see one further back on the hillside on the right. That's an okapi. Now okapis, they have striped legs, kind of like a zebra, but they're not actually related to the zebra. Their closest living relative is the giraffe. Now on the left here, there's a bongo. There's a couple of them. Both male and female bongos have those horns on top of their heads, and they're angled backwards to help them move through the forest. But both male and female bongos are called the ghosts of the forest. And that's because they can move through so quietly and undetected. Now look towards the brush, because the animals here, they are more shy, like we talked about. And I see one walking up here on the right. These lighter tan antelopes are the greater kudu. Now unlike the bongos, only male kudus will get horns, so those ones are female. Now, if you look over your left shoulder a little bit, laying down, there's a black rhinoceros. Now, the black rhino, it is the smallest of the species of rhino, but it can still get over 3,000 pounds. Now, a lot of people, they do know that rhinos are endangered. Unfortunately, a lot of the animals on the reserve are, but that's why it's so important for us humans to help take care of our planet, because it helps take care of these magnificent creatures. But with the forest behind us, we're headed into the Sophie River Flats. Here in the river, these animals love the water. It's a great source of food and protection. Now you can see some black birds there on the right. Those are vultures.
You missed the hippo. It's back that way behind
vultures
us.
Vultures are carnivores. But look in the water there, I see an herbivore. A hippopotamus. It looks like there's some on the left here as well.
Hungry hippo.
Now they're behind the island. Nile hippopotamus, they do spend the majority of their day under the water, holding their breath for up to 8 minutes at a time. Now it kind of looks like they're swimming, but hippos don't actually swim. They sink themselves down to the bottom of the river floor and walk or run across. But like I mentioned, hippos, they are herbivores. They eat plants. Those vultures there, they're carnivores. Oh, and I see some more carnivores down on the left. Nile Crocodiles. Now, because it's not quite their snack time, we do ask that you remain fully seated as we head over the bridge. Now, when fully grown, the Nile Crocodile, they're anywhere from 10 to 15 feet long. But crocodiles, they are different from alligators. Not only do they get a lot bigger, but they have a different shape snout. And their teeth stick out on the bottom, so they have a more toothy grin. Now it does look like the trees up ahead are starting to open up. That means we're headed into the savannah. Now here in the savannah, there's lots of fan-favorite animals, but I always like to take a moment to point out the animal's favorite plant, and it's this tree on the right.
The private tour?
That's a Baobob tree, also known as the Tree of Life. Now you saw a really big tree of life when you first came into the park today. But the Baobob tree, it's called the Tree of Life because it holds and absorbs water really well. So during those dry drought months, the animals will come to it to get that water out. Especially elephants, they'll use their tusks to puncture the tree bark. It's kind of like what we do with the juice box in a straw. Now the savannah, it is one of the most wild biomes on Earth. Lots of different animals, plants, and bugs. Now if you look over to your right, you can see a lot of those animals, including the Maasai giraffes. Now it does sound like there's some giraffes in the road up ahead. A giraffic jam, if you will. But the animals, they do have the right-of-way. That's for their safety and protection. But the giraffes on the reserve, they are Maasai giraffes, named after the Maasai tribes in Africa. It looks like the other truck just up ahead is getting stopped for a zebra. Yeah. Now the zebras on the reserve, they are the Hartman's mountain zebras. And they do like to hang out on the edge of the savannah near those mountain ranges. And because they can go higher up in elevation, their heart is 3 times the size as other zebras. But we'll get closer to them so you can see them a little bit better. They do know about the treats as well. But if you look really close, inside that rock den on the left, there's some more predators. But I see some spots, so that must mean those are the African painted dogs, also known as the African wild dogs. They're basically Africa's version of a wolf, but they are the most successful pack hunting predators. They have an 80% success rate when they hunt. But they are different from other dogs and wolves because they only have 4 toes. Others will have 5. But you can see them a little bit better there. Now if you continue looking to your left, behind the bushes there's some sable antelopes laying down. They have those tall horns on top of their heads that they'll use to protect themselves. But closest to us, these gray animals are wildebeest. Now wildebeest, they do have the largest of migrating herds. Now their herds can get over 1.5 million wildebeest. But wildebeest, they're also known as the GNU, G-N-U. And that's because it kind of sounds like they say it. They go, new, new. But it's pretty rare to hear that. So if you do, consider yourself super lucky. Now you can see those spots that we were talking about before. They're a little more rough and rugged around the edges, and they go all the way down to their feet. But giraffes, they also have what look kind of like horns on top of their heads, but those are called ossicones. And they're made of cartilage, just like our ears. Now the okapi that we saw back in the forest, the giraffe's cousin, the males can also get ossicones. But this giraffe on the left is trying to get a yummy snack up tall. Let's see if she sticks her tongue out. That tongue is called a prehensile tongue. It's a long, strong tongue, a bluish purple color. It can get as long as your forearm. Now the Savannah, it is home to animals of all different shapes. But do you see this large cracked tree up here? That's signs of the largest land animal. Only something really big and strong could knock over a tree like that. So let's see if we can go find it. I heard someone say it. I think you might be right. I think an elephant's knocked over that tree. And we are headed into elephant country. But look over to your left, friends, back by that rock wall. There's a mandrill baboon, mandrill monkey. They're also more commonly spotted by the males because the males get that bright colored face. But look down to your right there. There's that elephant. Now it's also the males that'll usually knock over those trees, the bull elephants. That's to show their dominance, but also to mark their territory. But I could tell that that one's the male because he's hanging out just by himself. The males like to be solo, but they can form smaller groups called bachelor herds. But it's the females that like to stay together in larger family herds, and that's to protect their young. So hopefully we'll get a good look at the female herd up ahead too. But like I mentioned, elephants, they are the largest land animal. When fully grown, they're anywhere from 10,000 to 14,000 pounds. That's huge. Now, a full-grown elephant, they can also eat about 300 pounds of food a day. Now, there's one walking over your left shoulder there. Good eye. Up ahead here, there's some flamingos. But look really close because there's also some babies. Now these are the greater flamingos. They are the lightest pink and biggest of all flamingos. But you can see those babies, they're not quite pink yet. They won't turn pink until they eat some more on their own. Flamingos do get that pink color from their diet, usually brine shrimp. But because of that pink color, a flock of flamingos is called a flamboyance. Left, laying on the rocks. A lion. Looks like he's taking a good cat nap. Now, Simba in Swahili means lion. But that handsome guy there, his name's Dakari. But speaking of Simba, Dakari is the model for Simba in the newest Lion King.
That one's mine. Alright.
Now, if you look to your right here, friends, this is another type of antelope, the Bontebok. It looks like there's some more rhinos as well. But we do weave around, so we'll see them again. But the lion there, looks like he's sleeping. Lions can lay around inactive for over 20 hours a day. They don't necessarily have to be asleep that whole time. They just like to conserve their energy, especially to hunt. You're right. It is the females, the lioness, that do the hunting. The males, they'll stay behind to protect the rest of the pride, including any young cubs. But here's another good look at the rhinos up ahead here. Including that baby over your right shoulder by the rocks. Now that one, let's see, which one is that? That one is the youngest of the three babies. She was born in December, so she's only a few months old. Now there's also that ostrich there and some eggs on the ground. Those eggs are huge, but it makes sense. They do belong to the largest of birds. Now, one ostrich egg is equivalent to 24 chicken eggs. They're also really strong and have a thick shell, so if that full-grown ostrich, she can get up to 200 pounds. If she were to accidentally step on one of her eggs, it would not crack. Now, up ahead in the glen here, this is the Wardens Post. And it looks like there's some animals back here. The Nigerian dwarf goat. Now, those goats are really helpful around the village, especially to the farmers. They eat just about anything, so the farmers can let them out before they plant crops, and they'll eat those hard to get rid of thistles and weeds. Now the goats, they also produce a sweet milk, and it's a great alternative to dairy milk because it's lactose-free and higher in protein. But friends, we saw a lot of amazing animals today. We saw some hippos and crocodiles, giraffes, lions and rhinos. Now it's important that we do the very best we can to help take care of these animals. And a great way to do so is to educate ourselves and get involved in those conservation efforts. But there's several out there. There's even the 4 R's of conservation. And those are reduce, reuse, recycle, and replenish. Now when we participate in those 4 R's, it helps out the entire planet. But even just teaching someone a fun fact that you learned on the safari today is a great step in the right direction. But as you can see here, friends, we have made it back to the village.
Well, that was most of the safari. Tried to cut out some of the non-active, but that's it for today. Tom, Zort, Rogue Disney, saying don't be afraid to be the fool. Have some fun on your vacations. I won't bite. This little guy might. And yeah, later.